Onegaishimasu. Okay, so when it comes to memorization of techniques, especially with the Keiko Sabaki Gata, because there's just so much in it, I think everything that you recommended is good. What works for you, and that's great. However, I'd strongly encourage that you learn the meaning of the name of each of the kata. And in that, you'll be able to say, okay, goho, 5 methods. What is the kata? It's 5 techniques. Tachi otoshi, dropping the opponent's sword. You're smashing their sword down. Okay, I remember that. So like all of the techniques have their own meaning. And if you really like study the name, the meaning of the kanji of each one, and I know that I don't think all of you are going to sit there and study the ideograms of each form. However, it will imprint in you the kata. And in the Jininkan, Manaka Sensei has us in the 3rd dan test, in the Sandan, we have to do goho, ura goho, sashiai. Pretty simple. Okay, those first 3 techniques. In the Shodan test, we have to do the kamae. Now, he doesn't tell you the reason why in the Shodan test we don't have Johan no kamae, we don't have Kyohen no kamae, we don't have Ichimonji no kamae. Oh, we do. Yeah. But we don't have Jodan, we don't have Kyohen. And the reason is, and he doesn't tell us, is because those kamae are not in the Sabaki Gata. So you have to be careful, because if you're memorizing techniques around kamae, you're going to sit there saying, oh man, which one was Kyohen? Which one was, what kata was Kyohen? Well, there isn't one. There isn't one from Jodan no kamae. We only see Jodan no kamae in the Shodan and then going forward in those scrolls. Okay. So I would strongly encourage you to, with each of the kata, maybe even when you're recording your accountability video, you would say tachi otoshi, to drop the opponent's sword. Like Paul, you do it. You say that, and Greg, you say the name of the technique, but then for your own benefit, add in the meaning. What does tachi otoshi mean? Because to you, it might as well be, General Tso's chicken. I mean, like if you don't speak the language, it doesn't mean anything. So you should force yourself to understand the meaning of each of the kata, the translation of the name, as well as the kimochi, or like the meaning, like, what does that mean? Okay, like knocking down a dragon. What the hell? Like, all right. But what does that mean? What does it say in the densho that I've provided for all of you? You'll notice that the densho can be somewhat vague in the technique. However, they will always state, this is the important point, right? And I'll always try to kind of double down on that in your curriculum, where I have that little focus sentence or two, like focus on this. That's usually going to be the piece from the densho that I bring over and say, this is the important point, and here's how you can whatever. So maybe going forward, you would say tachi otoshi, to knock the opponent's weapon down, move, and add the important point in there. Okay. That'll help you to memorize these. That's the answer, in my opinion. In the so in the Jininkan, we have the kamae as the Shodan test. In the Nidan test, we have the Kihon. And then in the Sandan, we have the kata, because in the Sandan test as a whole, this is where we need to begin to demonstrate the expression of the different vyuha. So it's important that we now start to do kata at the Sandan level. Then at the Yondan, you have to do the entire Sabaki Gata. And Sensei, on the Yondan test, he will at random pick 3 techniques. So you have to know them all. I think he's excluded for a reason I don't know. He's like excluded Funabari, Ura There's a couple of them that he didn't include. So you have to also remember what he didn't include so that, and I think he does that so you don't do the, I'm going to remember all of the Sabaki Gata as one form and I'm going to remember them in sequence. Okay, this is number 7, right? Like you can't do that. So I think he breaks it up for that reason. I don't know. I've never asked him, but I hope that's helpful. I know it's going to add more and I know Bill is going to be, I'm asking him to do, like after I read his post this morning. But that's what this is. Okay. Uh, hopefully that was helpful, but I think that would be a huge thing for you to say the name of the technique in the video and then the meaning of the technique. I think you'll remember it from there. Okay, let's get started with a warm up. We're going to go through the keyhole and yeah, just nice and slow. Let's get the hips low as you're doing these. Tento Manucci, each. Straight to the top of the head. Knee, san, shi, go. Roku, remember, don't bounce off the strike. Stop. Chi chi, hachi, hu, ju. 10 more. Each, ni, san, shi, go. Roku, chi chi, hachi, ku, and ju. Yoko Menuchi, side of the head. Each, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shi chi, hachi, ku, ju. 10 more. Each, ni, keep the hips low. San, shi, go, roku, shi chi, hachi, elbows in tight, ku, ju, do uchi, across the body. Each strikes through the target. Ni, san, shi, go, roku, shi chi, hachi, ku, ju. 10 more. Each, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sheech, hutch, ku, ju. Ashibara, striking the ankles. Each, knee, strike through the target, Greg. San, shi, go. Elbows tight to the body. Roku, shi chi, hachi, ku, ju. 10 more. Each, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sheech, hutch. Get the hips down, Paul. Ku, ju. Hamiage. Each, ni, san, shi, go, rook, sheech. Elbows tight to the body. Hachi, ku, ju. Each, ni, san, shi, go, rook, shi chi, hachi, ku, ju. Seigan ski. H, ni, san, shi, thrusting to the chest level. Go, roku, shi chi, hachi, ku, ju. Switch sides. Each, Ni, san, shi, go, roku, chi chi, hachi, ku, ju. Good. Hirachi Monchi no Kamai. Jodan Uke, Sonoichi, version 1, advancing forward, blocking over the head. Left foot first, then right. Each. Knee. San, come forward with the hands, not back like we talked about last week. Shi. Go. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. 10 more. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Now stepping back, right foot first and left. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. 10 more. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shichi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Good. Left side leading, Seigan no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Right side leading, Seigan no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Left side leading, Chudan no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Right side leading, Chudan no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Left side leading, Gata no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Right side leading, Gata no Kamae. Hirachi Monji no Kamae. Hirachi Monji no Kamae. Left side leading, Tenshiji no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Right side leading, Tenshiji no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Left side leading, Ihan no Kamae. Also, Hokusaki. Ihan no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Right side leading, Ihan no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Left side leading, Ichimonji no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. Right side leading, Ichimonji no Kamae. Hirachi Monji. And when you're doing each of those, you should also be saying the intention in your head, as well as manifesting it in your spirit. Seigan no Kamae, left side leading. Go ho no kata. Go ho. Each. Go slow. Ni. San. Opposite side, right side leading, go ho. Ni. San. Opposite side, ura go ho. Nice and slow. Ni. Ura go ho. San. Opposite side. Each. Oh. Ni. I screwed up. San. Sashiai. Left side leading. Each. Ni. San. Opposite side. Each. Ni. San. Yame. Good. Everybody warmed up? All right. Let's pick that apart. Where did you encounter a trouble, a problem, get hung up? Open it up, whoever. Paul.
Sensei, I have a question about Ura Goho. I end up in Sakate. Trying to think where. Let me just take this through. So, yeah, I'm just curious if it's okay to be Sakate in the backhand.
Ura Goho. Seiga no Tomai. Mofuri once as you're going into twice. Ski in the face. Left hand is palm up.
Palm up.
Menuchi. Left hand is still palm up. People make the mistake of, in the middle of the strike, switching the hand to palm into the hip. At this point, palm is to the outside of the hip. Then from here, Hayage. Left hand is still palm up, Paul. Then throw. Horeage te, lifting the left hand. Wherever the opponent is, you attack him with the side strike.
Thank you so much. That clarifies that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Easy group. Cool. No questions on the kamae, nothing?
It's just questions on what we just did or what we study on the week.
I'm sorry, Melissa?
Yeah, I'm asking if the questions are about what we just did or about what we
No,
studied.
just what we did. Just for
Oh.
warm up. Yeah.
No, sensei.
Okay. Well, congratulations, all of you. If you have no questions, were able to execute all of those techniques to an exceptional level and would have been able to have passed the Yon or the Sandan level of Manaka Sensei. So well done. I made a ton of mistakes. It's all over the place on that left side. My body wasn't prepared for Urago. So,
Same problem, sir.
yeah,
The
of
only
course.
one of doing that one on the left side, like I got to the pullback ski, and my brain just went, nope.
Yeah, yeah.
I need a sip of Jim's coffee.
Okay,
Same
so let's get started. I want to begin with Tachi Otoshi. And I think what Melissa is going to ask me about is a Sankakuashi Sabaki. Is that correct, Melissa? Maybe not.
No, sensei. It was just the switch of hand on the Yamatsuki.
Okay, let's go to your error, like, well, not your error, but what my comment on your Tachi Otoshi. So we'll see. What's important with this technique is from here, I'm advancing in, but like I'm really pushing my sword to your right side, my bow to your right side. So I don't want to enter. So imagine yourself attacking me in the line right now. So you're in Daijoda no Kamae, and my bow is just half-assedly kind of just here. I don't actually have intention on the bosaki. There's no intention here. I'm just standing here like I'm holding a stick in my hands, looking over my shoulder. However, this movement, the difference between this and this is considerable because now the center of my bow is at the center line of your body. And I'm not having to create a circular movement as I enter. Instead, I'm going to be entering straight in and you can see the path of the bow. Now, it's now on your right side. This is very important with this technique, I feel. And it's very often overlooked where people have to, as they enter, bring the bow to this point rather than it naturally being here because your kamae is correct. And as I advance my right forward into you, it ends up like this. And you can see naturally, this is just where it goes. I don't have to bring it there like this. I think this is very important. And this is the first step of understanding this kata. And like we talked about last week with this Joranuke in preparation for this technique, is that my hands are going forward. Common mistake, even if I have that last part right, the common mistake is to advance forward with the right foot, but pull my right arms back. You see this lifting and pulling back. This motion. You don't want to do this, at least not how I learned it from Manaka Sensei. Rather, as I advance forward and this goes to the right side of the opponent, my right hand is like I'm punching them in the face. So it's like this. And you can see the difference. Now from here, Melissa, Sankaku is like three angles, right? It's a triangle. So I've taken that first line straight forward. Joranuke. Then the left foot goes to here. So now triangle. After I strike down. Then right to their eyes. This isn't a strike, this isn't anything. It's just zanshin. Because you're entering right into their proximity. Right into so close that they can shito you in the face. Like you're right on top of them and you've smashed the bow right out of their, the sword right out of their hands. Tachi Otoshi. So this is what I mean by this Sankakuashi Sabaki. Rather than letting the back foot drag to wherever. In the beginning, when we first learned the technique, we want to create a really defined 3-angle movement. So first, stepping forward with the right hand coming up, blocking, in a manner as though the sword doesn't even touch your bow. And then from here, the weapon comes as the left leg pulls, the weapon is at the crown of the head, and as that left leg pulls, it's like, it's almost the feeling of pulling back an axe to strike down. Now, a couple of different ways that I have certainly done this with sensei is fighting the arms or fighting the mune of the sword, but it's always close to the suba. Also, this advancing this way and coming around and striking down like this to that opposite side. Fast is strike straight down. This is strike straight down. This is the orthodox way. This is the way that it's most commonly going to be seen. However, if you choose to do this with advanced students, or if you need more range on your weapon and you bring it around like this, you can certainly do it like that. Manaka Sensei has taught it like this. But that would just be like a variation of that movement. Now, don't confuse this with a Jojutsu kata that's similar to this technique. There's a form in the Kishin Ryu Jojutsu where we begin here, and as the opponent cuts, I'm swinging the lead leg back with Yoko Aruki like this. But with the Jo, it's quite a bit different, where you're using more of a twisting motion to set up for the straight line versus the straight line and then turning like a hinge like that. Now, this isn't to say that in sparring, you're going to do it like this. But I think that this gross footwork and making sure that you're understanding the line of the technique will allow you to then, if your opponent is coming in and cutting at you, certainly you can do Yoko Aruki with the left over the right if you choose. This is still coming forward like this. 1, then 2. That's all fine. That's all going to come to you. However, for the kata, train it with this triangular footwork for Tachi Otoshi. Does everybody understand this? Yeah, cool.
Sensei, I got a question on the strike. I've been coming in and striking, leaving my elbow, because I'm up here with Jodan Uke. I just leave my elbow there and then come straight down on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And you leave it there like that, like this, or do you come back off of it? Okay, so you come back off of the elbow.
I don't know. I
Come
see.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, no, this hand comes back.
yeah.
Like that. And
Yeah.
that's gone.
I was just, for ease, I was leaving it that way and then coming straight down on it.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
Okay, okay, all right. Thanks, Sensei.
This is Greg Ha. Okay, let's practice this maybe 5 times so I can watch. All right, let's bring it in. Any questions on this technique?
Sensei, on one of the bonus videos, you were exploring Yoko Aruki.
Yeah.
And using the kind of propeller motion to create a little bit of hip and knee. And is that considered a henka or a variation? Would that be a traditional application of the kata as well?
No, it would be certainly be, like I said, with the Jojitsu, it would be sort of the convergence of the two, and you can certainly use the Yoko Aruki. It's going to depend on the how the opponent attacks. However, Paul, when we get into, like, say, if we were to have between now and maybe next January together on this topic, we'd be able to go into the Keiko no Ho. And we would see that with Tachi Toshi, if the opponent was attacking us from Hasu no Kamae. So if you're in Hasu no Kamae and you're coming in and attacking me like this, or coming in with Do, then I'm gonna be moving with this Yoko Aruki or pulling behind like this, like that. So in the Keiko no Ho, we start to, in the angular cuts, we're moving more, getting this left flank out fast by pulling the left side forward first versus pulling the right side like that on the angular cuts. So in like the Keiko no Ho, it would be considered very orthodox. It could also be considered variation to the movement. That's how we look at it though.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. But as you're training the true technique, forward and then pull the left foot back and strike down. Any other questions? You guys find those bonus classes that I'm putting in there helpful, huh? Yeah, cool.
They're awesome.
Yeah, but sometimes I look at them and I'm like, did I really just say that? Okay.
Sensei,
Yes.
Sensei, this is correct. Or
Both are good. I see the difference. That's good. That's going to depend on the opponent, Richard, I think.
Okay. Hi, Sensei, arigato.
Okay. Harai, who'd like to demonstrate it? Max, you did really good on your video. Let's see it. Good. Lead hand palm down. All right, cool. So, awesome. So Harai's interesting technique. It's one of my favorites in the Sabaki Gata because there's a lot of hidden kakihiki in this. Does anybody want to explain it? Does anyone want to take a swing at like what we're trying to accomplish with this kata? And maybe without guessing, maybe with saying like, oh, when I was doing my 20 repetitions, I discovered this. Has anybody got that? No? All right, cool.
Definitely timing wise, it's similar to Sashiai 1, 2, 3, kind of in skipping stones type of concept.
Yes, yes.
One thing that I found really interesting was the smoothness of the transition between the Haneage into
Yeah.
the Ashibarai.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, all right, there's a couple of things there that we can work with, I think, and it's really good. So the first thing to notice is that, again, I can't just stand like this. This is like one of those things, guys, that I'm just a huge pain in the ass about. And you're kind of burdened with this truth now when you're training with somebody, or maybe you're at a seminar and you see someone standing in ichimonji like this, you're going to be able to say to yourself, they've had no real training, so they're going to be easy to smoke. And because here, the purpose of this is to create this barrier while you're able to have a feeling of weightlessness. Like everything here is very, very loose and soft. Now, without this, they're not going to have that pressure. You're going to motivate them, not like Seigan. Don't confuse it with Seigan. But they're going to end up having to figure out how in their overhead stance that they're going to come in and attack into you. And it's very important that the back foot doesn't initiate the step. That as they come in, and this is really interesting here, as they attack, your body weight falls back, face this way, your body weight falls back so that your center line, your perineum goes over the heel, and then from here, you spring off the back leg, and you strike down, going, you can't see it, striking down at this angle. You're not, if I'm here and I do harai, I'm going to straight down in a vertical, I don't know, that same plane as in which I started with my kama. I won't hit anything because they're right here. Kama, body weight falls back, and now you see the difference in my angle because I want to attack their right hand on this one. I'm attacking the top of their right hand and their wrist. So, kama, they feel the pressure to sort of cut around the obstacle. As my body's very loose and floating, I fall back, I stay on the subtle angle of the bow, and I strike down to their right hand, then I attack into their their left wrist. So I'm hitting down and up, completely clearing the sword from their hand and ripping their left arm upward, coming from underneath, lifting the sword and the left arm upward. And to Jim's observation, this is not a mawashi te in this manner. It is continuing with this motion, boom, and striking through the leg. Now, can you do it with a mawashi te? Yeah, I suppose. Have I done it with a mawashi te? Yeah, probably when I was doing it against my student Dan, because his legs were like old growth tree trunks. And trying to sweep him was hard. And he's the kind of guy that before he put his shoes on at the dojo, he would reach in his bag, he would pull out an old brick, and he'd sit there and hit his ankles with an old brick, like one of those old crazy Chinese guys, just sitting there as they're smoking their pipe and they're hitting their arms with bricks. He did that to his ankles. Because of Benkei, and he would harden his legs for this. So sometimes it meant that you'd have to really get that momentum going. However, in this kata, it doesn't necessarily dictate that. What is important, I think, though, guys, is this subtle angle that is very rarely taught, but you'll see it when Manaka Sensei does it. Body weight falls back as the opponent enters. Then, with the obstacle here, you follow the plane of the bow, you strike to their right hand, hitting the weapon down, then quickly hitting the weapon up, continuing with this motion, continuing your advance, and sweeping their left leg out from the outside in. And this is the kata. Yes, and then of course, back. Okay. I think you guys did pretty well with this. It looked good, but let's go ahead and do 5 repetitions now with some of these details in place. Watch that. You're kind of creating this roundness, Paul. Like you're coming up and it's sort of going out and then back in. So just be aware of that. Okay, Yame. Good. Any questions? Yeah, we're looking all right here. Yeah, go ahead, Max.
You just told me the palm down with the was it with the left one with the harai? I always come up, palm up.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Great. Wow. Good pace today, gentlemen, ladies. Okay, Yamate Suki. Interesting name. There's one thing that I want to touch on inside the Kihon that I should be teaching more of, but I don't. And this is Kote Haniage. Sometimes if you watch in those old live classes that I've recorded and I put up, I will do our warm-up each, like we did in this class, but oftentimes I'll do the Haniage like this. 1, 2, where I'll come in almost halfway like this, striking up at a half stop, and then drop my hips, go from this 45 to a parallel the ground, and strike up and punch the ground. This is Gedan Haneage, the other is Kote Haneage. They are very different strikes. Gedan Haneage comes straight up the body. Kote Haneage is if you're in Seigan no Kamae and I hit up your hands. However, they can come together and sort of merge as one. They can be called Gedan Kote Haneage, where you're hitting under the hands and you're lifting up, like on that last technique we just did. Okay, so some techniques we have, you strike here to hit underneath the hands. Some techniques you have Suso Haneage, which is to scoop under the hem of the hakama and lift their leg up by scooping the hakama. Then you have Gedan Haneage, which would be like striking into the genitals with the power of launching them into the sky and like up into the stars, or hitting up, ripping up the whole body, or striking the rim off their baseball cap, if you will. So coming completely up the center line. You see the same in Tento Menuchi, don't we? We see like Menuchi, you see this Tento, which is at the crown. You see Menuchi, which is at the forehead. You see Kote, which is to the top of the, this technique. We could do this all day long, which is striking down to the hands, striking to the forehead, striking to the crown of the head. So sometimes I will guide the class in those change-ups. So just be aware of that. Especially Kote Haneage and Gedan Haneage, the differences between those and Gedan Kote Haneage. Okay? This is important because of this technique. So who'd like to demonstrate Yamate Sugi? Listen, I can't pick all of you at once, just one. Paul, go ahead. Yeah. Really well done, Paul. Okay, Paul, we're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. And I'm going to uke for you. So, as you're entering in your Chudan no Kama, no, wrong. You want to get me on this side. Yeah. So I block this way. Now your strike is to my elbow, this powerful do. It's kind of a high do. So it would be called ido along the line of the ribs, like right here. So the goal is to hit here. So go ahead, boom, knocking me this way. So what's your next attack? Correct, because my next movement is going to be, when you do that do, is to step back and do this. And now you've attacked this arm again, hitting me back. And then from here, hitting me back, you come in with all my weight on this back leg. And then your final strike is correct. So it's very important at the beginning. And I believe you'll probably see myself and Dan and Manaka Sensei and Mario. We're going for that lead shoulder first to make the opponent push the bow this way. Then clear opening for Ni no Ude is to strike in at this part of the arm, at the elbow, to break my control and power over the sword with the left hand. This is going to force me to go back. And then from here, you strike my hands down, causing me to go back again, beating me back and back. And all my weight on this back leg, you come in and attack upward with my weight and balance back. This is how I understand the technique. Hopefully I explained that in my lesson. I haven't watched it in years, but.
Would I end up in palm down in the Haneage like we did in the previous one? Or is there a hand flip somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't figure out where to fit it in.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, now from here, you're really lifting high. This is pulling back very big. There's a big movement here. And as the right hand lifts, it goes to hot dog bun to here as I'm pulling back. So you're striking down, then lift up high, come back in that manner. So there is that switch.
Thank you. Perfect.
So, yeah, so it pivots like that.
Sensei,
Right.
in your video, you talked about two variations, and I thought that was it, where you do it Sakate once and
Yeah.
then Junte the other one.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. On the Jininkan Yondan test, Sensei has a switch to hands. When he teaches the kata, I believe, I don't know, I'd have to go look at the video. I think he switches the hands too. But did I do it? Did I do it with this strike and then come down like this?
No,
I
you
didn't
come
okay.
back.
All right.
You didn't,
Anyway.
but I think you implied that one was quicker than the other, perhaps.
Yeah. But this technique is to pull the opponent, like to really sort of get the opponent to fall back like this. So that's the feeling.
I have a question to say, but it's not war related, but more of the Uke's work.
Mhm.
Because I see constantly Mario and Dan doing this type of defense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a thing. I don't know why Mark, I see him doing that too. It's not a thing though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see.
Video doesn't lie, doesn't it? That's why some of us become really good at Final Cut Pro. It's true. So I don't know. Maybe Melissa. The way of Minaka Sensei. So Melissa's question is this. I think you all know it, but it's this fly or this fly. It's tough because what blocking Hanayage is hard. A proper blocked Hanayage is going to be like moving and using the mune down and blocking like this, or leaping back and receiving like this. But this flipping the sword thing that you see, it's very common. This is something that Manaka Sensei has many times explained to me. Don't do that, because now you have to make a whole other movement to make a cut happen. I don't know why Dan was doing that. I can't. Those are, and the reason why Melissa's so perplexed is because Mario, and you've probably heard me say this, I've watched a lot of the Genbukan, a lot of the Bujinkan, and I've watched everything from the Jininkan. And Mario is, in my opinion, the best in the world at Taijutsu. Hands down, no questions asked. No offense to any Shihan, O-Shihan, Dai-Shihan, Soke, anything. His dynamic and being on the receiving end of Mario DeMol is like being on the receiving end of a trident from hell. It is really, really effing horrible. He is brutal. He is not mean. He's compassionate of heart. But being on the receiving end of his technique is something that not a single human being that I know, regardless of skill, has looked forward to. He has really, really contained some of that spirit of Takamatsu that I have not seen from any individual at all, never. And this is, again, I'm not trying to diminish anybody, but when you train with Mario, you will say, oh, that's what Adam was meaning, because that's how good he is. He's exceptional. Dan, as I already explained, he banged bricks on his ankles. You would see him hitchhiking down the road at 5 o'clock not hitchhiking, hiking down the road at 5 a.m. in a blizzard. Friends of mine used to, like cops and stuff, would be on their way to work and they'd pull over and say, ask Dan if he needed a ride. And he would be walking like this. Melissa, you probably remember this story. Why is anybody walking like this? It's because he was conditioning his arms for the proper koshi kudaki, the proper movement of gyokoru. Again, I think Mario would say that Dan in these videos is the best, was the best in the world at Kyoketsu Shoge. At least that I've seen. There's probably a lot of people that don't go on video and hide in barns and caves that are more exceptional. However, I just haven't seen them. But Dan went to a point of crazy, so much so that he had to stop training, and that's not good. Mario, on the other hand, I mean, there's a reason why Manaka Sensei has given him all of his Menkyo and Menkyo Kaiden. So when Melissa saw those two blocking like that, I'm sure she's like, what? And look, we're all human at the end of the day, aren't we? So I have no answer. And maybe next month there'll be a block like that is explained to me, and I will bring that to you guys. So, any other questions here? Cool. Let's do a couple repetitions of Yamate Ski with what we have. Yeah, good, Edgar. Yeah, Max, perfect, good. Melissa and Ricardo, can you do it to each other, please? I want to watch the touchy eye. Not fast. Jim, your mind is separating from your technique. You're thinking about a second coffee. This.
I was momentarily distracted, sir.
Yeah. So, Greg, that looked really good. I want to challenge you, put you to task on something. When you following this strike, I want you to do this strike here with your center. Let me see if you can make sense of what I'm saying. Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah. All right, let's get two more in, please.
I have a quick question, sir. The kakehiki is it continuous attack, or is it 1-2 pull 1-2? Because in the video it looked like there was a pull back with Seigan after the Dochi to Nino Ude. Or
There's a
is it
hesitation there.
okay? Thank you.
when you asked me about to do my Tondan, it felt like I was all heavy in that and I just dropped straight down. Is that the kind of feeling I'm supposed to get?
That's correct. Exactly.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Yame, bring it in. Great. Any questions? Any questions?
Just to go back to mine real quick, it's just a hesitation. So it's 1-2, Seigan hold, Sento Mwashite. There's no pullback. It's just holding in place.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
I mean, can you pull back? It's going to depend on how your opponent's moving. Like
Okay.
if they're really boom, boom, and they're coming in at you, then you're going to be pulling back and then strike,
Okay.
strike.
Yeah, I
Right.
just wasn't sure if that was an important point to include.
Let me, I'll go back and I'll read the notes, but I think if my memory's correct, in the notes of this technique, there is mention of a hesitation. And I think it's at this point. Is there, Max?
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was like a pullback to draw the attack before the tempo strike.
I
that
would
was sort of-
say that very clearly if you're trying to do like mise, like if you're trying to bait them or pull them or maneuver them. Otherwise, there would be a hesitation to break the rhythm,
Okay.
right? Or to study the opponent's movement and to be able to move to where they're moving. This is
Yeah.
where you'll see a hesitation in the rhythm of a kata. But if it's a continuous, you've got them on the run, so to speak.
Okay. And we're looking for that getting them on the run feeling.
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
tempo. Okay.
Yes,
Great.
of this technique. Yeah.
Thank you.
Your notes do say hold for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Boom, boom,
So-
hold. Boom. Yeah. Well, two.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 seconds. I shouldn't say 2 seconds because if you're in our Wednesday night class and you're doing the EI Jitsu no Kata, then you know 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Like that's a lot of time. But a 1
Right.
count is 1, 2, go.
Yeah.
Right. So
It's not a half beat, it's a full beat.
it's a full beat, not a half beat. That'd be right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. Any other questions, guys?
Not a question, but thanks again for the extra classes, and that bonus basics video was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Thank you for those.
Yeah, of course. So, okay. So if there's no other question, anybody else, anything?
So the last Haniage, we're stepping back, right? But would we maybe step forward or stay in place, whatever, depending on the distance?
No, on this one, you're stepping back. Yeah. For the kata, I mean, you could step forward too, for sure, but. Good. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. Ciao.